Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Aiden, and today I'm gonna be reviewing Muv Luv Alternative. I said it wrong. Sorry, it's late. If you haven't seen my channel before, we do a lot of visual novel readings on the channel, and for the past 2 years, we have completed the Muv Luv trilogy. So if you want to check out the full readings of that, just check it out on the channel. Along with, we did a tier list last video, Muv Luv related, and we have the 2 other reviews for the 2 other parts of the trilogy. But today we are specifically talking about Alternative. Now, when I started Muv Luv, I did hear a couple people tell me that, the first 2 games are good, but the last one is amazing. And usually that's not really like a selling point for me. Like when someone's like, oh, this show's great, you just have to get through 2 seasons before it gets like really good. And I'm like, is that even really a compliment? I don't know. But in this case, it's kind of true. Like I thought Extra was great. I thought Unlimited was pretty great. Alternative is just like a whole nother beast, especially the last like third of the game is amazing. So obviously they kind of bring like our boy Taku already got isekai'd into the alternative verse, and then in this game he gets a time loop power. They're combining genres. So the first like bit of the game is what you see of typical time looping stories. Funnily enough, I've read a lot of time looping stuff on this channel, so this was an accidental thing that happened, but I know what it's about. And like the main fun part of a time looping story is like using the knowledge you have from the previous loop to change stuff, and that's what they focus on for like I would say the first quarter, maybe a little more of the game, which was interesting. It's always fun to do that. That being said, it can get a little boring, but luckily, obviously, since the day Unlimited ended pretty early because of Alternative 4. It's 4, right? Alternative 5 taking place. What am I saying? I'm trying to, like, it doesn't overstay its welcome, is what I'm saying. Like, you have fun repeating the same events, and right when it gets a little tedious, it's like, oh, you're already past what we saw in Unlimited, so it's a brand new perspective. So that was fun. A big thing about this novel, compared to Unlimited, is, funnily enough, while Unlimited had a lot of like good setup points, mainly for Alternative, there was no combat at all, which is crazy to think about. Like, there's just some sparring, and the most action, honestly, we saw was probably the big training test on the island and the volcano thing, I would think. So the next notable arc after like going through what you already saw in Unlimited would be the Revolution arc, where you actually get to see TSFs fighting and killing each other, and it's great. I've always commented on how, especially in Extra, how dynamic Muv Luv's visuals are, how the POV is constantly switching, how characters and pieces are constantly moving throughout the scenes. Much more expressive than I've seen in any other visual novel. And we finally get to see it used for combat, and they do an amazing job. It's one of the best parts. Like it's what really sells the combat for me in Muv Luv. Like it's crazy how hard it goes, especially later in the game. But this is like the first taste you get. TSF on TSF combat, it's kind of funny. The first time you're actually fighting stuff, it's not even against the beta, it's against fellow humans, which, kind of goes with the theme of like how even if the world's ending, humans are still selfish creatures, etc., etc. But the Revolution arc was great. You get to see Mia's dead sister. Well, obviously not dead in this one. Lots of great moments with Major Walken, Irma. They have a really short tenure in the novel, but they were pretty fun side characters. I kind of talked about it a little in the tier list, where like this art specifically kind of like adds in like the new version of Chizuru and Ayame's backstory, along with Tama a bit, and honestly Makoto. It all kind of fuses into it. I think that in the tier list I said it's definitely not as strong as the bat stories in Extra, in my opinion. I thought those were pretty much all of the bat stories, besides maybe Maya's, and I guess Sumito's, if you can even call it a bat story. I guess you can, if you know what I'm talking about. But it was still fun. It was still fun. Like, I have a little bit of gripes with it, like Shizuru or Ayame not interacting with Sagiri at all when both have like some major connections with them, but it's fine. It's fine. And that arc was good. But then we finally get to see the beta, kind of. Maybe my timeline's messed up, but anyways, the next cool part is the beta arriving. And it's kind of crazy. The main villain of the series, obviously you don't see them extra, but you didn't see them at all in Unlimited besides like a silhouette, I think. And like halfway through the game, you finally get to see this apocalyptic force. Sorry, I can't speak right now. Little tipsy. And they're horrifying. I love the design. I love the chaos they bring. Like, as soon as the first beta attack happens, boom, you get a crazy death with Marimo. Some hyper violent, very graphic gore, which was not present in Muv Luv at all. So it's insane shot factor, and it just keeps happening and happening. Maybe not. It's not like as. I don't think there's anything as gory as Marimo's, unless you count Sumito's thing as gore, which you can. But I loved all the beta fights, like literally all of them, besides maybe the first one. But the first one's great for like different reasons. Just because I love Takeru's like descent into madness performance. But like all of the ones after that are literally like, in my opinion, climax worthy for like other stories. Like, they're all so good. Like Sato Dashima, insane. The siege on the base, insane. Obviously, Operation Cherry Blossom, insane. They were all so good. Like, honestly, like, it's a hard sell, but, like, if I had to say, hey, you want to read, like, I don't know, like, 150 plus hours, maybe, it's obvious, it was longer for me since I had to, like, read it out loud, but, like, of stuff to see, like, 3 epic battle scenes, because I honestly, some of my favorite, large-scale battle scenes in visual novels, and now that I think about it, I haven't really seen a lot of large-scale battle scenes in visual novels. And again, it works well with how they do the POV, how it's so dynamic, how they can fit in all these elements. And it really is great. It really is great. Also, talking about that whole era, shout out to them for like introducing a whole new group of characters who kind of became core side characters. Obviously, I'm talking about the Valkyries. So late in the game and still making them great characters. Like, you usually don't see that in visual novels, I would say. Like, introducing, like, characters so late into the game unless they're, like, a villain, maybe. But, like, honestly, the Valkyries are pretty lovable, I would say. Like, I think Isumi and Hayase kind of stand out, obviously. But the others are great, too. And obviously Kashawadi. I mean, yeah, finally seeing Kashawadi again was cool. I was a big Kashawadi fan in Extra, so glad she made a return. Also the deaths, man. There's so much death in this. I mean, you would expect it, how bleak the world is, but like when I saw Marimo die, I'm like, okay, crazy death scene, loved it. But like, she was the sensei, you know, it's typical of like the mentor figure in a story dying. But once they killed Kashawadi and Isumi in Sato Dashima, I was like, okay, maybe like everyone's on the chopping block. I know they were like the new side characters, so like somewhere I was like, okay, maybe they'll just kill all the other Valkyries. But as soon as like one of the core members died, I'm like, okay, probably they're all gonna die somehow, besides like maybe Sumita, which I was wrong, or Kasumi, and obviously Takeru would live. So lots of death, and not only is there a lot of deaths, a lot of good deaths. Like Marimo's again had the shock value, like just the picture they were putting of Takeru like trying to put her face together was crazy. Kashawadi's was also kind of a shock value thing, just trying her hardest to protect the captain. And then both, I'm just gonna combine Isumi and Hayase's death because they were very similar. I'm always a sucker for sacrifice deaths, especially when they achieve something. And yeah, they gave up their lives and achieved something great, basically saving the world. Without their sacrifices, who knows how the plans would have went without that. And they were super emotional. They always hit me. If you've watched my Higurashi playthrough, I remember actually crying during Minaduroshi during some sacrifice deaths. I'm not trying to spoil it, but yeah, I love sacrifice deaths, so those were cool. Then you have older Suzumiya, who has a sacrifice death, but it doesn't achieve anything, which is like heartbreaking in a different way. You know, she almost did. She almost shut down the tour, but she was just killed right there, and that was brutal. Ayane and Chizuru sacrifice. I mean, all the core members' deaths are basically sacrifices, but loved what they did with them. You know, I just kind of critiqued how their backstories blended into the Revolution arc, but that was like the perfect death for them. Finally becoming in sync, fully like in agreement, and giving their lives to save the world and the man they love. Amazing. Tama, my girl, showing her sniping skills one last time before being stampeded on. And Matoto's honestly was so metal. Getting fucking electrocuted, closing the septum was so cool. Dying standing up. And obviously Maya. Maya's, again, if you want to hear more of my opinion about like specific characters, then go to the tier list. I kind of go more into that. But Maya was so cool in this arc. Like, I liked Maya. I did. I liked Maya throughout the story, but in Alternative, she's just so cool, man. I was kind of Maya pilled for a bit. I'm still a Sumita fan for like best romance interest, but I can definitely see why people would choose Maya over Sumita. She was just insane. Insane in this. And obviously it was great learning about the beta. Like we got a lot of world building in Unlimited, but just finally seeing the beta, the hordes of them attacking, and the conversation with the core at Operation Cherry Blossom was so cool. Like, just you like learn a lot and learn like a little at the same time. Like, you learn a lot about the beta, but at the same time you learn like, oh, they were created by this, I don't know, silicon life form, and there's just billions of them scattered across different universes collecting materials. So like, just this whole war on Earth is just so small scale, and there's obviously no way of stopping this silicone life forms besides like maybe negotiating somehow. It's just such a big grand scale that you can't really comprehend, which I think is cool, and it leaves it a lot really open-ended. Obviously there's a lot of side stories. I don't really know too much about what happens in them. I'm pretty sure like some of them are about the past, like before the events of Unlimited and Alternative, so I'm guessing they won't cover that. But honestly, like it's so open-ended. I feel like you can write a lot about it, about the future. Let's talk about some negatives. And again, I love this. I love this this novel. So people like, I feel like a common complaint about Alternative is the pacing, that it's pretty slow, and I would agree, though I think it's more like my reasoning's a little different. Like, I agree it's slow because they explain a lot, but I like that sort of slow pacing, especially when they're world building and explaining mechanics and stuff. I would say like the writing itself is a little slow, especially with dialogue sometimes, because there's a lot of moments where like one character talks to Taku, teaches him a lesson, he's like, wow, that was really cool. And then like maybe 15-30 minutes later, he talks to another character and is like, oh, you know, someone just told me something. And then he literally just repeats what was told between the two to the other person. And then like they do that a lot. They do that a lot where Taku like takes a lesson, and like a specific example would be Isumi's like romance story, I guess. Like, he heard it from Isumi, talked about it and why she fights and stuff, and I'm pretty sure she repeats it to like 3 different people, like verbatim. Like to Maya, Hayase, and I think someone else. And it's just a little like why? Because like, and usually the character responds like, oh, so that's what she was thinking. Like, it doesn't really add anything. Obviously, like you can just shorten them down by saying, oh, I told them about Yusumi's backstory, like that. I feel like they over re-explain things a lot. I also pointed this out in the visual novel. This sounds really nitpicky, but I feel like it stands out a lot more because of me reading the story for YouTube. So I like read aloud stuff a lot, but like they like to like cover monologues with ellipses a lot. Like basically like someone's talking a lot, then it would cut to a character with ellipses, and then he would continue the monologue. And they're doing this to show that the other characters like taking in what I'm just trying to say what Tataru is saying. Like he's going on a spiel, and then like it pauses to show like maybe a couple characters just doing ... and then he continues to and it's basically just used to spacing, like that they're thinking throughout the whole speech and not just like responding to the end, which it made sense kind of, but the funny thing is, like I've said before, Muv Luv is such a visual treat. Like they definitely just could have just like changed their facial expressions while he was saying the speech, and I'm pretty sure they do that. Like they don't need the ellipses, right? It's so visually dynamic that they could just easily express it without slowing down the stories. And you're like, okay, Aiden, who cares about ellipses? I'm telling you, if you add all the little ellipses breaks throughout this whole novel, it would be over like an hour long of pure ellipses. Maybe more. I'm not capping. And they do another sort of break where it's like it's almost they do it less, but it's still pretty frequent, where it's like ellipses and then they say the person's name. Like I'm pretty sure there was a speech where like Neo was talking to Tataru, and all Tataru responded was with ellipses, and then ellipses Nea. She says like 10 lines, and then Tataru goes Nea, and then it's just I don't know. That part, it's just a little funny to me, and it seems a little unneeded. So basically, I mean, there's probably like some more I could talk about, but just like small pacing issues like that, kind of like, since there's so many of them, it kind of adds to the length of the story a lot. So yeah, while they do explain a lot of stuff and it is slow, I actually think the pacing is more because of how slow the writing is, and not in a good way of over explain or world building and stuff, just a little flaws in the script. And just another noticeable example, actually no, this isn't a writing issue, this is just my opinion issue, is I feel like Tataru's rate of growth it's maybe a little too steep. Like obviously in a story, all characters have an arc, and as the story progresses, it rises up and maybe it goes down. I feel like Tataru's was like a literal, it was a slope, man. I feel like he was literally still growing until like the final fight. which it's not really a complaint, but there's just some moments, like especially with his interactions with Yuko Sensei, and I love Yuko Sensei, I then reference the tier list, I think she's great, but some of my least favorite moments was with her and Tataru, where she's trying to teach Tataru a lesson, and he's like, oh, I'm so naive. And it's just like, sometimes it gets repetitive. I remember, like, I think it's right after the Marimo death thing, or maybe right after he comes back, after going to the other universe because he's in grief about Marimo. Like, they have this big talk. Tataru's like, okay, I'm gonna grow up, I'm gonna become a bitter person, and then like 10 minutes later they're talking about something else, and then she does another fucking test, and then he gets mad again, and is like, oh damn it, why am I getting mad, I need to become a bitter person. Like, it just happens probably too much, I think. Like, what I'm saying is, I wish Tataru learned more. Like, he's an airhead in terms of romance, that's just common with the harem protagonist trope, but like, sometimes it was a little frustrating how it felt like Tataru really hasn't changed. And obviously, starting from the beginning to the end, Tataru's changed a lot, but I just wish it was a little faster. It seemed a little tedious, his growth, in my opinion. But that's mainly all the negatives I have. Like, it's just some writing issues and some annoying parts with Takuru's growth. But everything else, great. Obviously, music's on point, though I am using the extra and unlimited playlist just because I kind of like it better. It's a little more upbeat, but it's great. Visually, again, great. Some great CGs. Great new characters. World building's fantastic. Again, the fights are so good. Like, I'm not even a big fight guy. Like, a lot of the visual novels I read don't have fights. They're more like mystery or drama based, but the fights are so cool. I can't, like, I guess the last big, like, fighting visual novel I've read was, like, Fate, which was, like, 15 years ago. No, there's no way it's, like, maybe, like, 12 years ago. More than 10 years ago, though. So it was a nice breath of fresh air, and again, with the visual style, I'd be surprised to see, like, this level of fighting again. Man, just, like, this whole journey was so great. I'm just so happy to experience it. Just taking this, you know, no one asked me to play this. I just randomly chose it because I saw people loved it, and what a journey with a perfect ending. I thought the ending was great. And, you know, the cherry on top of adding Kasumi into it. Kasumi had a great growth arc. And then all the characters' arcs were really good. I feel like maybe the core members had a little less to shine in, like, the second, like, 2/3 in the game. But obviously they have great endings by the end of the game, so... yeah, treat. It's definitely, like, the best Muv Luv game, by far. I would say this is the best. Extras... next for sure. Extra over Unlimited for sure. Extra had some great moments too. You know, sometimes I see people disrespecting Extra a little bit. I think Extra is, like, really good in its own way, with some really funny moments. Like Tama's route is insanely good. Same with Chizuru's, I would say. Even Ayame's. All of the routes are good. I'm trying to think of anything else more to say. Like, obviously, there's a lot to unpack with the themes and stuff, but, like, do I need to explain it? It's pretty self-explanatory. The world building's great. It leaves it a lot open. That's why there's so many side games. Like, if the world building wasn't, like, great, like, to make so many side games, you need, like, either a really good world or a really open-ended story, which I feel like both of those, mainly the world, is great. So, yeah, obviously it's good. And I really don't have any complaints, besides, like, a couple writing things, which, again, are personal opinions. Maybe the issues I brought up aren't important to you at all, which would be fine. But man, Muv Luv on the TSF design, honestly, character designs, when I first stepped into Muv Luv, the style, it was a little old school for me. I didn't love it, but it really grows on you, and some of the drip is so good, man. I didn't talk more about it in the tier list, but obviously Sumika's battle suit, amazing. Tsukiyomi's battle suit, amazing. The Takamita Zushis looked so good. The Raptors looked amazing. And then the beta designs look great. The Hive stuff, very alien, very good, very good. I don't know. All I'm saying is very good. So I feel like I'm just gonna end this episode or this review off. Basically, great game. One of the best visual novels I played. It is it top 3? I think it has to be top 3. There's no way it's not top 3, right? Is it top 3 just alternative, or top 3 if I group them all together? Because low-key, I feel like if I group them all together, it might be like top 5, just because Unlimited might bring it down a bit. But sure, I've always said this. I don't think I'll ever love a visual novel more than Umineko, just because it holds so much nostalgia for me at this point in my life. But I would put this up there. Maybe like with Umineko, Muv Luv Alternative, and probably a tie between like Higurashi or Fata Morgana, I would say would be the next best. But yeah, Kino, it's great. I recommend everyone read it. If you're too lazy to read it on your own, you can always read my read through, which is like, I personally think you should read stuff on your own, but I don't know. I guess it's kind of like audiobook light with me reading talkers lines and stuff like that. So, and yeah, obviously you got my opinions and theories and stuff about what's gonna happen. So, but yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If I didn't cover an aspect of the game, or you have any questions I didn't really talk about, feel free to leave a comment and I will respond in kind. And yeah, if you like the video, you know, like and consider subscribing. I think the next Muv Luv video will do an opening reaction to, because I haven't watched Alternative opening, so we'll watch both of them on a video, and then I don't know, sky's the limit. I think I'll try one of the side games, kind of like what it's kind of emanating what I did with Higurashi. I also spent like 2 years reading Higurashi, and then I went into like, well, actually, then I watched a bunch of the Higurashi anime. Some people asked if I'll watch Alternative. I feel like if I do watch Alternative, it would be more like I start the video, introduce, just talk, do an introduction, then I'll watch it on my own, and then I'll talk about what happened in the episode, or just give my like review and initial reaction instead of making a reaction video, just because it's a little hard and I don't know. I don't really want to. But I guess that's on the table, but I'm probably like I did with Higurashi, I did try like some of the side games, so I'll probably dip my toes in that, see how that is. So yeah, the Muv Luv is not over yet. There's gonna be more Muv Luv content for the foreseeable future for now. But yeah, that's it for me. Again, thanks for watching, thanks for giving me your time, and I hope to see you in another future video. Later.